metronome.
Oh, okay, shit. Welcome everybody to another episode of A Distinguished Conversation. I am your host Caleb. I'm joined by my boy Marcos, and Noah will be here eventually. He's taking a piss and he'll be right back. So yeah, how have you been? I'm actually here now, so it's nice to have all three of us back.
Right, you're not over the phone this time.
Yeah, and we got a new mic, so my voice sounds extra sexy today.
It does.
Hell yeah.
He winked at me.
Oh! But yeah, so we're gonna do a kind of a specialty episode today. It's late, but this is gonna be our May the 4th episode, because May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, and because we weren't able to do it the first Wednesday of May, or the second. Wait, no, because I was here last week. Never mind, I take it back.
Yeah. So like the first 2 weeks was like show week. Well, it was show week for us, and then graduation, and then last week was just. Yeah, it was the welcome back episode. So now we're finally doing May the 4th.
We're back to it.
We should have pre-recorded it, but whatever.
It's fine. We don't think.
We don't think. You think we use our brains here? You're fucking wrong.
Anyways, back to you asking how I was doing. I think you did. I don't know, even if you didn't. I'm gonna say you did. Not too bad. Finally gotten out of school. Finally. At least until I go back in the fall. But. Yeah, I'm just kind of taking this summer to just chill, work. I've got a place up here, so I'm kind of just chilling on my own.
Sweet.
And then in the fall, hopefully I'm able to find a place with some friends.
Sick.
So we're going to see how that ends up going. But this first week of summer, at least summer break, has been going pretty good. It's been pretty fun. What about you?
Surprisingly enough, for summer, I've been pretty busy.
Really?
Yeah, so like just getting like a garage sale. I'm helping my mom with garage sale. I'm looking for a new job because I can't work at the college anymore because I'm not a student.
Yeah.
Moving in with some of my D&D homies.
Sick.
Shout out to the D&D homies.
What's up, D&D homies?
But yeah, no, got a lot of shit going on. First week of June, I'm not going to be able to be on the podcast for a couple weeks in June and a couple weeks in September because I'll be out of the States. I'll be in the Bahamas for that first week, and then I'll be in Texas for the second week.
Sick.
Indeed. Cool. And then in September, I'm going to Ireland.
That's what's up.
Hell yeah.
As cool. The kids say, lit.
Dude,
welcome Noah.
Welcome Noah.
How was your piss?
It was a very nice, healthy piss.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to drink more water. Good. But
hydrate. Anyone listening to this, hydrate. Go drink water. I know you have
drink water right now.
I know you haven't drank water today.
I have a very unhealthy.
Listen to this water.
Addiction to
That's some good water.
Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola products.
Propane and protein accessories.
Sponsor us, by the way.
One of my favorite bits from King of the Hill is the bit where Peggy, she dreams that she's gonna send a couple of like kids to hell because she showed them like a. Do you remember the like soap opera telenovela action show thing that they were watching?
Kinda, not really.
Monsignor Martinez or whatever it was, and like she dreams that like she's gonna send these kids to hell, and then like the fires stop, and then like Hank, he's like, oh, it'll only be a second, and then he's like changing out a propane tank, and then he comes back and he's got devil horns, and he's like, that's a clean burn in hell, I tell you what. And then he laughs. Whoa. I love King of the Hill.
I need to watch it. I haven't really watched King of the Hill. I watch it like here and there whenever I would like catch it on TV or I was bored.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching it not as like a comedy or adult animation, but more as like
a sitcom type thing.
No, more as like a nature documentary of Texas. Like it's pretty accurate.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, you used to live in Texas, so.
I did. It's like you'd look out and you're like, the hillbillies are out drinking beer again.
Indeed. It's great.
Just a normal day in Texas. But where in Texas?
It was the Fort Worth area.
I was gonna say it's not the Panhandle.
No. Well, when I moved there, it was called Keller, and then they like rezoned everything, and then we were considered Fort Worth. But where I was it was like right next to the Texas Motor Speedway, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes away.
Sick.
I was like near Roanoke, which if you're ever in Roanoke, check out Babe's Chicken. It's to die for. The chicken's not actually like the best part. It's pretty alright. It's pretty good. But
babes.
But actually no. The sides is what you go for. They have like mashed potatoes and cream corn and like the gravy, but the cream corn. Like you can also have the salad and coleslaw, but it's like the mashed potatoes and like the gravy and the cream corn. Oh god.
Right.
I love it so much.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how I feel about creamed corn.
It depends on who makes it. I've had like really weird like it's just like water and butter and corn. But like if it's like that like nice thick like cream corn,
for sure,
then it can be really good. It has the same type of like either hit or miss. Like coleslaw is the same way.
Yeah, for sure.
I think all coleslaw is a miss.
Depends on where you get it.
I think some coleslaw is a miss. I mean, to be fair, there were a lot of foods that I just didn't like as a kid and then never ate. Like I just tried it once and I was like, ew, and then like vowed to myself that I'd never eat it again. I was like that with onions, but I like onions now, so I don't really care much. Or, like coleslaw was one of those foods. Like olives,
onions.
except olives, I would rather die than eat.
Do you want a sandwich?
I'll take a sandwich.
Okay, I'll make you a sandwich before you leave.
Hell yeah.
I made sandwiches earlier, and I kind of wanted another one. They were,
Sweet.
as the
There's a
kids
club.
say, bussin'. At least one bussin'. Maybe not two, but at least
Not
one.
bussin', just bussin'.
Yeah, but I mean, so, does every food have to be like bussin'?
No.
Yeah? No.
No, it's physically impossible for every food to be bussin' because then bussin' loses its impact.
It's like Taco Bell, like it's not good, but man, does it hit the spot? It's that shitting in love. Yeah.
Shitting in love.
Speaking of which,
Full circle, baby.
what's a good food to talk about? Like, I feel like we need to stir up some controversy with another food and put it into a category.
Category.
Mac and cheese. Does anybody have any hot takes about mac and cheese?
I like mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Salad.
And I had one of my best friends
salad.
one of my best friends hated me. Well, he didn't really hate me, but like I told him that like hot dogs, like just cut up hot dogs and throw it in mac and cheese, and he was like, "Oh, what the?" And by the way, this is the same kid that ate ketchup sandwiches, and you know who you are, and I hope you were embarrassed.
Ketchup's like bread.
Like just bread and ketchup.
You know who you are. Ketchup sandwich.
You're
That's my new
nasty.
quote though. So
You ketchup sandwich lover.
it was really funny.
Ketchup boy.
Did you say ketchup? Did you say not ketchup? Did you say mac and cheese was a salad?
Salad.
Yeah. Or I think it would be a soup.
It's a
It
soup.
depends on how thick the cheese is, I guess.
That is true, because it could be a broth.
I've had mac and cheese where it's like a broth.
Dude, the school mac and
Or
cheese.
not
Yeah.
a broth,
Oh my
but like a
gosh.
stew, because stews tend to be thicker.
Yeah, no,
It's like kind of like with ramen where you like drain some of the water afterwards, and it's still
Yeah.
kind of that soupy type.
right.
Yeah.
Soupy type beat.
Yeah.
The school mac and cheese, or like their pasta brother they had, made me want to kill myself because I would eat the pasta and there'd be so much grease and like oil that it like separated from the cheese, and I'd just be eating like spoonfuls of oil, and it was disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, now greasy or oily mac and cheese is nasty.
Yeah.
I still am trying to figure out like a good like recipe for the bourbon buffalo bacon, or the bourbon bacon buffalo chicken mac and cheese that I'm gonna make one of these days.
Bourbon barbecue
What?
buffalo. I
think it
feel
was
like you
bourbon-
had to combine the barbecue and the buffalo, so it's got like
Was
spicy.
there-
wait,
was
smoky
there-
spiciness.
Call it bourbon buffalo barbecue chicken mac and cheese.
BBB.
BBB
Triple
bourbon,
B.
because there was bacon. I don't think there was barbecue. I think it was just bourbon, because we
So-
were talking about infusing bourbon with everything and how
Right.
I wasn't here.
yeah.
Was that
You
when
know,
you did the wings?
What was that? Yeah, I know you weren't here.
We're all here together now. That's all that matters.
Oh yeah. This is our first. Like, last week was our first week with all three of us. Like,
Technically.
talking. You know, it was like after a breakup, and then like you guys get back together, and you're kind of like sending little texts. But like, this is our first official week back in the studio.
What was that scenario you compared this with?
Yeah, I was about to say, what the fuck was that? Are you okay?
You know, you're getting back with your ex, and like you're like sending like little texts.
I don't think we were ever broken up. It was just like,
but like,
did you think we were through?
We were fighting for a little bit, but like,
maybe, I don't know.
I still held on
together now.
I mean, I did.
I had hope.
Come back.
You can't just drop this on me on the show.
You know, we were considering looking for a second Mexican co-host.
You'll never find one. Anyways, Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Star Wars. You've never seen any Star Wars beyond Episode 7 now, have you?
No.
Okay, so
I have notes.
Yep. We started the movie, and I was like, "Hey, should we take notes?"
So yeah, just for a little background for L viewers at home or in your car, wherever you may be. We decided to do a May the 4th podcast about a month ago.
Exactly. The only problem was May the 4th wasn't on a Wednesday.
And also we were not open that first week.
Yeah, no, scheduling issues, all that jazz.
Right.
We're such popular people.
Exactly. So I don't remember, why did we decide to start with Episode 7?
So we decided to do Star Wars month. And
right.
We were actually talking at the desk, and we just brought up like the sequels, or no, I think that's because you and I were talking on one of the episodes about how we hate the last three,
right?
And so
you thought you'd put me through that torture and make me watch the last three first.
Thought we would get those out of the way first, so
that's
that
fair.
One day we can go back and watch the good ones.
Right. True. So, did you guys just watch the 7th?
Yes, we literally just finished.
Sweet.
Film.
All right, perfect. So,
I hadn't seen the film. When did it come out? Was it 2015 or 2016?
2015, I think.
Okay, so the last time I saw it.
Spoiler warning now for
the other person in America and the world who hasn't seen it besides Marco.
So if you're planning on watching Episode 7,
don't care, my bad.
And you care, go watch it. You're not missing a whole lot, but you know, I don't want to be the guy that spoils it for you.
Yeah,
you gotta suffer through the suck yourself.
I actually
fair,
and then come back and watch this.
Yeah, I actually had a tradition to spoil every single Star Wars film with my sister. So I would spoil them, and it'd just be like, "Hey, how did you feel about?" Well, we've already put out the spoiler warning. I just walk up to my sister, "Hey, how do you feel about Han Solo dying in this one?" Or like, "How did you feel about this happening?" Or with Rogue One, she was like, "Yeah, that's not true." And then we watched the film, and she was like, "How the what?" Mm-hmm. But like the major spoiler for Rogue One is kind of like,
hang on. We put out spoilers for Episode 7, not Rogue One.
That is true.
Rogue One is actually a good one. Absolutely go watch Rogue One. It's so fucking good.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, because like the last time I saw Force Awakens was when I saw it at the Dollar Theater, so when it first came out. So like, or what was that? Dollar? Did you all have Dollar Theaters in Kansas?
No.
Okay, so a Dollar Theater, for those who don't know what a Dollar Theater is. Pretty much, you could literally go and see a movie that just came out like 3 or 4 months ago, for like $2 or $3 instead of like $15 a ticket. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, they had those, or we had one in Texas.
So it was just like a movie theater, or
yeah, but like the movies that had, so like Star Wars came out in, was it like December? Or November?
I don't know the month. Probably.
Whatever month Star Wars came out, like 2 or 3 months later.
December. Episode 7, Force Awakens came out on December 18th.
So then we saw it in like January or February. It was like a month or two later after it came out. Prices would go down. Nobody else was wanting to go see it. So they would take the projector, or not projector, but they would just take the film and play it for cheap at this other theater.
Sick.
Popcorn was still the same price, like $10 a thing, but
because that's how movie theaters actually make their money.
Oh yeah, most assuredly. But I mean, honestly, I saw some of my favorite movies in the dollar theater. Like, we rarely ever saw a movie like day of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the last time that I saw Force Awakens, and having gone back to it, I didn't hate it.
Episode 7 is definitely the better. I think it's the best sequel movie there is.
Yeah.
Because behind the scenes, so J.J. Abrams directed the episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then another dude directed episode 8, and then J.J. Abrams came back and directed episode 9. I don't know why. I think there was some legal stuff that happened with it, or like contracting or some bullshit. But you can very clearly tell the difference in 7 and 8, or wait, no, between 7, 8, and 9. Because in 9 they retcon a bunch of shit that happened in 8 because J.J. Abrams didn't like how the other dude was what direction the other dude was taking it.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait for next week's episode, because I got some controversial hot takes on next week.
I was going to talk shit on 8 and 9, but 7
pretty much.
7 is, by all means, it fits the Star Wars formula. So, like, if you look at, like, the first episode of the prequels or the original trilogy or episode 7, they all follow the same kind of timeline. So, like, you show up, bad guys are there. Oh, no.
Somebody on a desert.
Somebody's in a desert. The super secret spy man gives the super secret plans to the droid. The droid runs away while the pilot fucks off.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks the pilot's dead, but oh no, he's still alive.
Sometimes.
On occasion.
Right.
And then, the story continues on.
Some people fight. Somebody dies in said fight with the lightsabers, and then a big thing blows up in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's always a big Death Star.
Yeah.
Or a Star Killer or something.
Something.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? One thing I liked about going back through this rewatch, and like, I don't know, it was like quite refreshing to go back and see characters like Han Solo, and I didn't feel like they changed too much, Han or Chewie. I actually really like the banter between like Finn and Poe, or like even Finn and Rey at first, they have like some good chemistry, and he's like, why do you want to go back to Jakku? Got a boyfriend? Cute boyfriend? like there's some pretty like decent dialogue going on.
Yeah.
And then Kylo Ren, my favorite part of the entire film is just when he throws his little temper tantrums, and then
the fucking the stormtroopers are just like, you know what? Let's fuck that. Let's
go over here.
Let's go the other way.
Turn around. The first dude's like, he's like putting his hand to his chest. He's like, turn around, go away.
He's like, I know.
No, but
He's like, don't worry about that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Though I know when it gets to like 8 and 9, it's pretty much like whichever one pisses you off more is the one that you hate more. But I don't know. I feel like 7 was kind of a decent step in the right direction. I was nitpicking it throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah.
It was definitely a step in the right direction. The thing that bothers me the most is like there's so much you can do with the Star Wars universe. It's such an expansive and relatively well written universe, and I understand like the way the only leeway and decent argument I have for episode 7 being a good movie is it's Disney proving to the Star Wars community that they can make a good movie, or at least a decent movie, and follow the formula and make something that's presentable.
Oh yeah,
right.
They're not gonna just shit the bag, but they did with 8 and 9.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, so I took notes throughout the movie. Do you want me to just like start off?
Yeah.
Well, so what was your take on the film, Marcos?
Yeah,
it was all right.
Was that right?
Yeah, that's about it. I was really like back and forth between the movie. Like it started off, got through like the first third of the movie, and I was like, okay, this is all right, I guess. And then it starts kind of ramping up into the middle of the movie into like the major fight, and then it ends, and I'm pissed. I'm confused. Like I was really back and forth between, do I like this movie? Do I not like this movie? I'd say overall it wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
that's just playing my thoughts on this movie. It wasn't too bad. Could definitely be better.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty accurate. I feel like that's most of the Star Wars films, though. It's like, do I like this movie? This is pretty stupid.
Because I watched one. I can't say I watched it because I started watching like the first quarter, like first fourth of the movie. Like I got like 15-20 minutes in, and it was one of the older ones. I don't remember which one, but I don't.
Is there?
I don't know what it was because it was who's the dude that says like Misa go something.
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks was in it.
So it was probably episode 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
is it 1 or 2?
What happened?
Jar Jar's in both. He's in 1 quite a bit. Were they in the desert?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 1.
It's episode. Yeah, okay. So I watched episode 1, and like straight through the movie, as soon as it started, I was like, I really like this movie. I didn't feel that with this movie. This movie, it started, and I was like, I'm not roped in.
I do kind of remember that about episode 1, though. Is like that one has like a pretty decent start. I think out of all of them, A New Hope is iconic. The intro, Empire Strikes Back definitely has one of the strongest intros. 6 takes a little bit to ramp up, but I think for me, my favorite of all the Star Wars and like the best intro, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Just everybody is at their best. The chemistry is there, the special effects. Like there is even actually a bit where there's a ship that blows up in the beginning of episode 3, and they animated a literal kitchen sink, and it's so like minute because the special effects team that worked on it, they were like, we put literally everything, including the kitchen sink, in there.
Oh yeah.
So like, and then General Grievous until he just kind of goes away for a bit. But I mean, like the first like third of that movie is great, and then notes.
Okay, so
sorry.
First thing I have, Leia's last name is Organa.
Yes.
I didn't even think about Princess Leia having a last name.
Yeah, so
like I just saw it and it goes through and it like has the text scrolling through the TV. I was like, what the hell is an Organa?
So
oregano.
It's the royal family for Alderaan, the planet that gets blown up in the episode 4.
Right.
So you would know all about that.
Indeed. But Organa is the reason actually I can't spoil it because I mean it's been
she's royalty.
Yeah,
30 almost 40 years since the movie came out. But do you know that Leia and Luke are related?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, I know they were.
I was about to say it's I feel like it's common knowledge at this point. But so the only reason she's Leia Organa instead of Leia Skywalker is because whenever Obi-Wan was protecting Anakin's 2 kids, who are Luke and Leia, he protected Luke on Tatooine while he sent Leia to the royal family on Alderaan to be mentored by
Bail Organa.
Bail Organa, is that his name?
And then his wife, I just don't know her name.
I watched Obi-Wan, and it goes through all that.
Cool. I still need to watch it.
Okay, yeah, because I was mostly thinking, like, aren't they related? Why is she not Leia Skywalker?
Yeah.
So that kind of clears that up.
And if you want the backstory on that, you can go watch Obi-Wan. It's a TV show on Disney Plus, and it's all right. I liked it, kind of. But
I like Darth Vader.
Indeed.
All right. What else you got?
I've got that. It kind of opens up, and it's. I don't even remember how this movie opens up. How does the movie open up?
They were on a desert planet.
Big bad Star Destroyer looming over planet.
And then Big Bad stops Blaster Bolt. I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
I forgot
because
about that. I fucking hate that so much. So much. What? Nowhere in the entire Star Wars universe can anybody just stop a fucking blaster. And then
he only does it once throughout the movie.
Yep.
He does it once, and then Chewie shoots at him, and it hits him, and he's like, "Oh, why does that one hit him? Just because he wasn't paying attention?"
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't fucking know.
Maybe he tripped over the plot.
Yeah.
God,
Plot armor.
Adam Driver's a different thing I want to get into. I think it's really funny that that Princess, not Princess Leia, Rey, that Rey almost immediately sold BB-8. BB-8 comes up and the dude is just like, I will give you like 64 rations or something like that. And she looks at it, immediately grabs it, starts right, and then she's like
hugging it.
Yeah, she like looks down at BB-8. He's like oh. He doesn't even look like, he looks like, what's going on? Like, he looks like he has no idea what's happening. And then Rey's just like, man, fine. It's just not for sale. I just think it's really funny that Rey just almost pawned him off just like that.
Oh, yeah. Like a kid is looking at their mom who's shooting up heroin, and they're like, "Are you sick, mama?" You know what I mean? Like,
it fits her character so well. I'm surprised she didn't just fucking sell it. The only reason she didn't sell it because she needed it for the fucking plot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, realistically, you are a starving scavenger. You're spending 12 hours a day in the scrapyards trying to fucking
the whole film she's just like, they're like, hey, do you want to like go to Ohio? And she's like, no, I have to stay at or go back to Jakku. Why? Just
because her family's coming back.
Oh,
that's the whole thing. Like, she's been waiting for her family for like fucking 10 years.
Why is that not explained?
I mean,
is it not?
No. Is it? Because
it is, but it isn't. Like, you kind of have to read between the lines. But like
that's stupid. Because Rey or Princess Leia meets Rey, and Leia's like, I know that you want to stay on, what's it called, Jakku? I know you want to stay on Jakku, but let's face it, who you're waiting for is not coming back. And I was like, who is it? A lover? Like, who is she waiting on?
It's the cute boyfriend.
It's the cute boyfriend, yeah.
I don't remember the fucking backstory as to like why she's there or like why her parents left.
Isn't
or something
that
like
in 8? Where
probably
they try and explain it.
Stupid.
I don't even know.
Just explain it in that movie. You had enough time.
Exactly. Like, have a flashback to where her parents abandoned her, and like have like, I don't know, a stormtrooper or like a Republic trooper being like, oh, you're needed for important business.
Yeah.
I don't know,
but that makes too much sense for a Star Wars film.
For a Disney Star Wars film.
Right. That is true. Well, like even the originals or the prequels, like, I don't know, like the prequels especially are some of the best like on-screen movie film stories that like have ever been put out there,
right?
With some of the worst writing ever.
Yeah, the writing, I feel like the writing the prequels is the best writing there is, because there's a lot of deleted scenes that like that really flesh out the story, which I think they were cut for the sake of time, and George Lucas straight up came out and said that the prequels were made to sell more action figures. Pretty much. That's why you have like Grievous, that's why you have Jar Jar, that's why you have the irony, a younger Obi-Wan, that's why you have Yoda, and all of them.
But Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, that's
sexy. Daddy.
I would take some fries with that milkshake.
$20 is not $20. I would just take it for free.
Yeah, I would. I don't need the 60 portions,
Hey man, I know Ewan McGregor from playing Rodney Copperbottom in Robots.
Hell yeah!
So
we should watch Robots for the podcast.
I love Robots. I would definitely watch Robots. We have so many
movies to watch already.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
so
next thing,
ideas.
They use the Wilhelm scream in this movie. Yes. And I heard it and I was like, okay.
Yes, these films are notorious for having a Wilhelm in each one, right?
For sure, at least two of... So episode 4 and 6 for sure. I don't know about the prequels, and I don't know about episode 5.
It's somewhere in episode 2, I think.
I think it's in episode 1 during the pod race.
Yeah. I think it is in all of them. That should be our like, not goal, but our assignment is we got to find the Wilhelm in each one.
Yeah, because this one, it was like at the beginning when the
First Order,
when the First Order first comes to whatever that planet is called,
Jakku.
When the First Order comes to Jakku and they're just like blowing the place up, and then Finn is like, oh, I can't do this. There's just like a big explosion and like a few stormtroopers go flying, and then you hear the Wilhelm scream. That's another thing, is as soon as they land on Jakku and like the freaking door opens, it like pans away to the city, pans back, and there's just one stormtrooper on the ground before everyone's gotten off the ship. So that dude didn't even have a fighting chance. He just immediately stepped foot and died.
Pretty much.
I thought that was really funny.
R.I.P. Gone but never forgotten lone stormtrooper.
I want to talk about Finn, because Finn's backstory pisses me off, because the entire point of the Stormtrooper Corps is they're elite. They've been indoctrinated by the First Order or the Empire, and they've done this shit before. They are, by all means, mass genocidal maniacs, every single one of them. And for him to just get on the ground and be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It's fucking like,
I feel like,
is that the stormtroopers from like the Empire, or is
both? So the First Order, obviously, they're technically like worse than the Empire, because they didn't have like the big regime.
They're the knockoff.
Indeed.
Right.
So the First Order's technically worse, but they had more money. I don't know how you would class them. There's probably like a million in-depth, like, oh, their blasters are better, but their armor's worse.
Who funded the First Order?
I'm not sure. So I think it would probably be the people who made money off the Empire. So the entire reason the Empire was even able to come into power without any real resistance is
whole plot of like episode 3, isn't it? Or
pretty much,
Palpatine's
is where like Palpatine made a bunch of deals with royal families and was like, all right, if you let me do this without any problems, I'll make sure you get the arms deal, and I'll make sure that your family and your planet becomes a big hub for the Imperial Army.
Whatever you need.
Exactly, pretty much. So like, you just turn a blind eye, and I'll make sure you're set up good. And I feel like the First Order is the same way, because I feel like it's the same families where they made a shit ton of money off of the Empire, and they're like, oh, fucking the New Republic is here.
So
I'm not making any money.
So actually, I want to talk about that for a second. Do you watch Clone Wars at all?
Yes.
Okay, so I love Clone Wars. It's one of my favorite like animated, but just shows in general. So much happens. When the First Order like get off, they all have shiny suits, and do you know if this is a thing? So in Clone Wars, they refer to like new people or new clones as shinies. But everyone else who had like tatters and scrapes on their armor weren't. And they'd been around for a bit. So is that a thing with the First Order?
I'm not entirely sure. There's not a whole lot of lore behind like the regular troops in the First Order, other than like Finn.
Fair enough.
Because beyond Episode 6, that had never been explored by any of the Legacy or the non-canon stuff.
But that's why great people like Dave Filoni like to flesh that stuff out.
Yeah, that stuff was never like explored until the sequels. The sequels. So I'd be surprised if they don't either, one, retcon those fucking sequels, or two, go back and explore, like flesh out some of the more like
Clone
questionable
Wars
details. Yeah,
but not the Clone Wars.
What I don't think a lot of people notice is the events of Episode 7 only take place like 30 years after
Return of the Jedi.
After Episode 6, after the second Death Star blows up the Battle of Endor, all that jazz. Yes. So there's this whole like little bit where Rey is like, Luke Skywalker, I thought he was just a myth. Like, it's been fucking 30 years. Surely that was a massive worldwide changing battle, to the point where
Galaxy-wide.
Universe-wide, yeah. To the point where you're basing your years off of that event.
You know, it's funny
like,
that you say that.
Before Battle of Yavin, after Battle of of Yavin, and then before Battle of Endor and after Battle of Endor, is how it's like.
I feel like
listed.
you and I are talking like those nerdy kids at school who would talk about like world history, and then Marcos is just like,
yeah,
what the hell are you talking about?
All right, I get this. I'm like shaking my head now.
And you're like, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
Normandy was tough. Stormtroopers.
It's all kind of clicking a little bit. I mean, to be fair, I've only watched episode 7, so there's not really a whole lot to get from there. But like, I'm able to connect some things.
Honestly, like
most of what I will talk about isn't even going to be related to the sequels or the prequels,
right?
Or the original trilogy.
But once we get to like 8 and 9, it's just full throttle,
just bullshit. They pulled the entirety of those 2 movies out of their ass and shat on any sort of future plans that Star Wars was supposed to have.
So it's like, it's not even that. It's like they pulled them out of like. It's like they took George Lucas's hopes and dreams. They were like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And then they threw it in a blender, and then they ate it, and then they shat it out. They flushed it down the toilet, and then they scooped up the remains from the sewers, and then they like blended it again, but with like a thing of tuna, and then they like took some Spam and threw it in a skillet and burnt it.
Oh, Spam's good though.
I don't know.
Not if it's burnt.
Not if it's burnt. Not if it's burnt with the remains of Star Wars and sewage and tuna. And then they burnt it, and then they like put it in a brown paper bag, put some dog poop in it. And then they said, "Hey, Hillary Clinton, can you like breathe in here?" Specifically, Hillary Clinton.
They said, "Hillary Clinton, send us your emails."
Or what's the lady, Kathleen Kennedy? Or is she the good one? I don't know.
What are you talking about?
the lady who's like in charge of Star Wars at Disney. I think it's Kathleen Kennedy. No,
I don't pay attention to the corporate set of bullshit.
I don't know. But you see, that's the issue. Is Star Wars is now corporate.
True.
You know how everyone complains about corporate at their work?
Yeah.
Now imagine if your childhood is owned by corporate.
Well, that was the problem with the sequels.
Yeah.
But I will give Disney credit. The shows are immaculate.
The shows are pretty good. Yeah.
Rogue One is really good. Solo's really good.
I really want to. You see,
they're making. There's talk of a Mandalorian movie, which I'm fucking excited for.
I've heard about that.
And there's a whole roadmap planned.
We should go back to. We should watch Rogue One of these days.
I agree.
Maybe if we have. Y'all doing anything Friday?
Yes.
Darn. I was gonna say I have a Friday off for once.
We can just send out like a watch list, and then we can just come back and talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
But like, honestly,
I'll be right back.
Heard. I haven't seen Rogue One. I've heard Solo is you either love it or you hate it.
Right.
Haven't seen it, but apparently it's pretty good or not.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about The Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's pretty alright.
I heard that was a really good show. What other shows are there?
We could have done a group piss, Caleb. He's not listening to me. He's got his AirPods in. Is that what the kids gonna say? But yeah.
Yeah, because like I know there's the TV shows. There's Solo.
That's a movie.
The Mandalorian. That's a movie. Yeah, I knew that. Solo movie, and then there's like the Mandalorian show. What other shows are there? There's like Visions.
Obi-Wan, Star Wars Visions, and that one is like it's like an episodic type, just random stories thing.
Right.
Apparently, it's pretty good.
It's just like a spin-off show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like most of those would probably just be spin-off shows, but.
Yeah, but like Mandalorian kind of tries to get into some of the. It's kind of making itself part of like the canon and the lore.
Yeah.
And then like you got Clone Wars, which that one. Watch the sequels and then like find out why people complain about the sequels, and then Clone Wars fixes about half of it.
Right.
There's still like most of the reasons people complain about the sequels are valid. Most of the reasons, but like in Clone Wars, they do a good job of like, hey, you know that thing we didn't explain? Well, here it is. Or like, hey, you want to see more of Anakin and Obi-Wan, the best part of this like prequels?
Yeah.
here, have some more. And
Cool.
then they brought in Ahsoka Tano, who was initially one of the most hated characters in Star Wars. When she entered the show and the movie that they made in 2007 or 2008,
Yeah.
people hated her.
Uh-huh.
And then now she's getting her own TV show. She's been in Star Wars Rebels. She's made her first recent live action appearance.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano is now one of the most popular Star Wars characters, and it's kind of an interesting to see that.
Yeah.
It kind of like Harley Quinn from DC Comics. Like, she started off as like this character they made up for Batman the Animated Series, and now she is one of the most, like, not important but like recognizable characters in all of DC.
Yeah. I mean,
I was comparing Ahsoka Tano and Harley Quinn.
What?
So when Ahsoka Tano like came to be, everybody hated her. In the movie and like in 2008 when all that happened. And then now she's like one of the most popular characters in Star Wars. And like Harley Quinn was just this random character that just appeared one day in Batman the Animated Series. Now Harley Quinn's fairly popular.
of course, not talking about Harley Quinn in the comics.
Yes.
Right. No. I can kind of see that because she was just supposed to be a sidekick for Anakin.
Yeah.
And then now she's not technically a Jedi. She's like
She's the
gray Force user or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they're called exactly.
the ones that are in between.
Yeah.
A little bit.
To where they don't necessarily follow either side, but they're for like the betterment of people in general.
Yeah. I feel like Star Wars needs to dive more into that.
I've always wanted that. Qui-Gon Jinn was another Jedi that was like that. That was
Mace
more of
Windu was kind of, but he was just
Mace Windu was like that, but that's just because he wanted to be more powerful without dipping into the dark side. Because Mace Windu, his whole thing is like he mastered all the arts of lightsaber combat, and then he created, I think it's Form 7, where it's a mixture of light and dark side of the Force.
Yeah, he walks the line very fine.
And that's the canon reason as to why he has a purple lightsaber, but the real reason is he wouldn't be in the movie unless George Lucas would let him have a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, he's like, what about a purple one? George Lucas was like, we can do a purple one.
Yeah, I like how you've never seen Star Wars, but you know that exact clip where you're like, yeah, we can do a purple one.
Yeah, because I've seen that. I actually saw that clip again like last week. I was just going through Instagram.
It's a pretty great like clip of just that's like the most Samuel L. Jackson, and like I don't personally know George Lucas, but it seems like a very like George Lucas thing to do.
Yeah,
the Zoomers are going crazy today.
So yeah,
car zooming.
Do you got cars? This is another reason why I don't open the window, because you'll just hear vroom.
Fair enough.
Sure.
People out here in the country are like.
Indeed. Speaking of lightsaber combat, actually, so the way I see it is the original trilogy has a lot of very emotional lightsaber combat, because most of the time it's between father and son, or mentor and pupil.
Right.
And obviously that's very emotional. And they even do like they talk dialogue. So like the first time Luke and Vader fight, I think it's not when he reveals that he's his father, but it's when he's trying to get Luke to join him. I don't remember all the dialogue. It's been a while since I saw episode 4, but like that's a big thing with the original trilogy. It's very emotional lightsaber combat. The prequels, it's very technical lightsaber combat, because it's when everybody was well trained. It's when everybody actually knew what the fuck they were doing, and it's very technical. It's very highly choreographed, which I love. It looks so fucking good.
I will say one of my favorite like all-time moments, which granted episode 3 is my favorite movie of all of them, that or probably 6, But I absolutely love the Anakin Obi-Wan. Not Duel of the Fates. Battle of the Heroes.
I think so. It's Anakin Obi-Wan. No.
Something of the Heroes.
Where they're on Mustafar.
Yeah. And then it goes back and forth between Yoda and Palpatine. Mm-hmm. But like, there's a little bit of dialogue where Obi-Wan says to Yoda, where he's like, "You must go take Anakin," and he's like, "I don't want to do that." And he would rather die at the hand of Sidious than go fight Anakin. But part of that is he also knows that Anakin is way more advanced than he is. Because if you watch that entire fight, it goes on for about 9 minutes, and the entire time Obi-Wan's only on defense. He never once tries.
Well, and he also doesn't want to kill Anakin because he's trying to pull him out of the dark side.
Right. But I think like this is because like their conversation, he is still like trying to like you said, pull him out of the dark side until like the very end, where they're on the little platforms and the little robot thing.
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think Obi-Wan has ever been on the offense against Anakin or Vader, because during the Mustafar fight, they were never. He was never aggressive towards Anakin.
Yeah.
During the fight on the Death Star, was it the Death Star?
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, "Strike me down, and I shall become more powerful than you could ever imagine."
Yeah.
And
God, I love Alec Guinness.
And he again is never on the offensive. And then I think even in the Obi-Wan series, there's a little bit of a lightsaber fight that he has with Anakin, or I guess Obi-Wan, or Darth Vader. And I don't think he's on the offensive during that one either.
Well,
so
like
I think that's a nice continuation. Of the character.
That is actually a very good observation. Though I think part of it is he can't really, like, not only does he not want to, but he also can't if he wanted to, because like
I think that Obi-Wan would be able to hold his own in a fight against Anakin. I mean, obviously he fucking cut him in half.
Yeah. But that was more out of like the only upper hand that he has had against Anakin was his arrogance.
Right. And I think he still has that over Anakin still to this point.
Yeah.
Well, they're both fucking dead, but spoilers.
Yeah. These people who existed way longer than like 30 years before these films are dead. Yeah.
Force Ghost, woo.
Honestly, that'd be cool being a Force Ghost.
It would be. I don't know what the fuck Force Ghosts do in their day-to-day life other than just like show up when another person becomes a Force Ghost.
They're like, "Oh, cool, Anakin. There's a couple of kids over here who want to talk to you."
Oh yeah, the women and the children too.
Yeah. And then, could you? Do you think maybe Force Ghosts have like day jobs? They just go to the office.
Maybe the Force Ghosts make up the Force.
Ooh, that's actually a good.
Because that's the only thing that I can think of it doing. Like, you know, when like Luke is lifting the fucking X-wing out of the swamp, it's just a bunch of Force Ghosts just like, oh fuck.
They're like, I'm gonna do it for the shit. They're in the swamp, and you just see Qui-Gon Jinn, and he's like, ah, and then like there's trying to think of a Jedi who was like cut in half, and they're like they're holding on to it.
Well, they float.
Yeah, oh, that is true. Actually, going back to the whole lightsaber combat, I noticed something while watching episode 7. So Finn, he's not doing too bad with the lightsaber until
he's trained with a shock stick. He uses it like a shock stick.
Yeah, but like he's holding his own against Kylo Ren until he doesn't. And then Rey is just like on defense, and she's just running away like a.
Well, yeah, because she's never touched a fucking lightsaber in her entire life
until she activates the power of plot armor, and then she like
it's so
tears
stupid.
Kylo up. Though one thing I do like about the Kylo, when he got shot in like his gut, and he keeps punching it, and it's so random and so weird. But I remember reading about this years ago when these films came out, and they were saying that's him like because the dark side is through hate and anger and pain and whatnot, and they're like, that's him activating the dark side or whatever. I'm like, okay,
that sounds like fucking bullshit.
He punches himself in the chest though.
Yeah,
he gets shot in the side and he's punching himself in the chest.
No, he's also punching the wound.
Is he? Because every time I looked at him, it looked like he was up here, like around his chest, like where his heart is.
It's like that Matthew McConaughey bit where he's just
Indeed.
I don't know. Matthew McConaughey is pretty cool.
Indeed, he is. But
right. Is he in Star Wars yet?
No, not yet.
We should get him in Star Wars.
He was
Jack
in Reign
Black.
of Fire.
Jack Black is canon in Star Wars now,
That is true.
And so is Lizzo.
and fucking Lizzo.
We should get
Jack Black on the podcast.
We should get Jack Black. Jack Black. If you ever want to be on the podcast, you are more than welcome.
Can we talk about Tenacious D?
Yeah,
We can absolutely talk about Tenacious D.
I would want to talk about Tenacious D with Jack Black.
I like School of Rock. I like that movie.
School of Rock is good. Pick a Destiny. God tier movie. Underrated.
Really?
I've yet to see it, but I like Jack Black. So
it's what like
oh, so Tenacious D movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, it can't be worse than any other sequels.
I would happily watch Pick a Destiny over episode 8 or 9 any day of the week.
I feel like we could have like a mile-long list of anything we would rather watch than episodes 8 and 9.
Let's see here. Pick a Destiny. The Minions movie. Paint Dry. Grass Grow. And a valley being formed.
Okay. This one's gonna be a bold one. Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I love Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Well, I've once said that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
What?
And I've watched my mother die, so that's why I say that. Let's see what else. If I had to pick, you did 5.
I just kind of listed a bunch off.
Okay, the Paint Dry. That one's a good one. I would rather watch a stain on the carpet dry. I would rather watch my dog just for like 8 hours.
Okay.
That's entertaining though.
Sometimes,
I love watching
but other
dogs.
times he's just a
dogs.
fat lard and he's just sitting on the couch but not even like adorably. He's just laying there like a fat lazy sluggard that he is.
That's the best part, is when your dog is just being fat, gross, and lazy, and it's just laying there and just watching him sleep. Like my dog, we have a little bully pit, and his name's M'Baku, like the dude from Black Panther.
Hell yeah.
He's so fat. He's so fat, and he's adorable, and like he walks around like on stubby little legs.
Oh, that's adorable. Can you sit still?
He sits down goofy. Like, you know how normal dogs, they'll sit down, they'll just like stand.
Was he doing like what my dog was doing, where he was like burrowing into Caleb's side?
Sometimes he gets zoomies like crazy, but it's really funny because it looks like this little pig just running around all over the house.
We need to get the corgi. I know you and I have talked about this, but we need to invest in a corgi.
A corgi.
I want a husky corgi mix.
Aww.
It's literally just a mini husky, and they are the most fucking adorable things in the entire world.
So when we make the money off of the ads, which, by the way, we never, if anybody wants to be sponsored as an ad on this podcast.
Oh yeah, we finally. I'm sorry to the viewers. You're gonna start getting ads or ad readings.
I mean, but if you're listening,
as soon as we get partnered, at least. But
yeah.
we qualified for sponsorships. So
yeah,
we're moving up.
We're moving up. But like,
yeah.
I mean, are the viewers really gonna be too pissed if they're listening to us at this point?
They see ads and commercials every day. You can't be that mad.
Yeah, we'll make it fun.
Yeah,
except it'll be like fun ad reads.
I can't wait till we get the one where it's like, so when you can't get it up, use.
If we get a Viagra ad, I will be so happy. That's gonna be do you know how much money Viagra would fucking pay us for an ad?
No, they don't. Or no, that's for TV. Because the way it works for like TV ads is they don't pay you. The like producers get money so that. Well, I guess we are the producers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where else is that money going to go to?
That is true.
Us. They're just gonna send us like a year's supply of Viagra.
Dude, if I got a year's Sour Patch Kids. I want a Sour Patch Kids competition. Did you see them send a package to Markiplier like a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I want a box of Sour Patch Kids and shoes. Those shoes look awful, but I would wear them.
Hell yeah.
It's just like the bright lime green, neon green Sour Patch Kids shoes.
Well, I got these for being a host on a podcast, which you should go check out. Like, it's free advertising right there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Also, buy Sour Patch Kids, and that's how it would sponsor us.
Sponsor us, yeah.
Give us money, somebody, please.
Before we have to start the what is it, the Patreon, and before we have to start the OnlyFans if we get that desperate.
Right.
But when we buy the mansion, we should breed corgis.
The fucking mansion.
We should breed corgis, and we should breed raccoons.
Why raccoons?
Because raccoons are the perfect butler. Did you not listen to the O. Rutherford episode?
Yes.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes.
It's like you're just like
totally did.
Oh, it's been a long day. Oh, Rutherford. And then like this little guy comes pitter-pattering around, and he comes in and he's like, "Been a rough day, sir," and he's already pouring the double glick 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 glick. And then he's like doing the ice and then like glick 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 glick. And then he's like opens up the Coke.
Little raccoon butler.
And then he's and here you go, sir. You know? Yeah. And you're like, thank you, Rutherford. And then you sip on your drink happily because you got a happy little raccoon butler.
A little rodent butler friend.
And then the little corgi hops up into your lap and you have your drink. Aww. And you pet your corgi evilly.
Yeah.
And
I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather have a robot butler.
I mean, robot butler would be cool, but we've already talked about the AI. You're more for the AI overlords.
I am all for AI overlords. I will happily slave away.
All right, AI overlords, if you can make a better Star Wars sequel, let's talk.
I guarantee you, if you plug all the prompts into ChatGPT, it would make a better story than fucking J.J. Abrams
probably,
did.
But I'm just saying, like, I mean, you could probably do that right now, but like when they like have a full script and everything, sure, then we'll talk. Right. But you know, until then, we just have to bash on these. Do you got any more emotes? Any more emotes?
Yeah. So after the Wilhelm scream, I've got Finn can't talk and shoot.
Yes.
And that's when they were in the little fighter, the stupid looking planes with like the two screens on the sides, which are just the wings.
It's iconic, but it's
a terribly designed ship.
Oh yeah, no, that's the entire point.
Yeah,
the entire point of those ships is to be cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly. And Finn is talking, but he can't talk and shoot because he's talking to Poe, and he's like, no, complaining about some stuff.
And then they get shot.
And then they die, but they don't die because Finn wakes up. So skip forward a little bit, and Han Solo shows up, and it's like, oh, it's Han Solo and Chewie, which you can tell is absolutely for fan service.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But it's fine because it works in the movie.
Yeah.
I will say I enjoy whenever Han is on screen. Like Han and Chewie, they're great. Like I feel like you could cut everything else out, and I would still watch the 5 minutes that Han Solo's on screen.
Right.
When he talks to Leia, and he's like,
the fucked up thing about that is Harrison Ford wanted to die in A New Hope.
Yes.
He didn't want to do the what is it, 4 movies now that he was in?
Yeah. He didn't even want to do the first one.
No.
It was more of a favor to Lucas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And then he just made a fuck ton of money off of it, and he also had to service the fans, you know?
Yeah.
He's like a Hollywood whore.
Wasn't Harrison Ford the same way in Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Does Harrison Ford just hate being an actor?
Yes.
I feel like he does. Like, he's a really good actor.
But he hates doing it.
He fucking I think he enjoys making movies, but he hates it when the movies follow him around.
Yeah.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Well, because like he was actually offered the role of Alan Grant in Jurassic Park, and the reason he turned it down was he hated the script.
That's fair. And what's his name? Sam.
Yeah, that guy.
Sam Neill? No.
He's pretty all right. I like
the guy
him.
that plays.
What'd y'all think of the last Jurassic Park that came out?
I liked it. I don't care what people say. I liked it. Sam Neill. Yeah, his name's Sam Neill.
I haven't watched it.
was pretty alright.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I forgot.
I was entertained. I love Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he was pretty alright. I forgot that there was one in between the 2015 one and then this one.
It was the one where they auction off all the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I forgot about that one completely. I was like, oh, that's right.
They fucking what?
One.
Yeah, so there's like a black market for all the dinosaurs that they create now, and they're making like massive weapon dinosaurs that they're auctioning off to countries to use as like weapons of war. You drop bottles.
Were any of those open? What is happening here?
Anyways, they do that, and then it turns out that Chris Pratt saves this little girl who is part dinosaur.
Yeah, that was the part that I was very confused by, because they were like, she is part dinosaur or something, and I was like, what?
Yeah, because it's like,
who is this girl?
It's like his... Oh my gosh, what was that story? It's like the grandpa loses his daughter and then is like, no, we're going to recreate you. So he makes like this clone of his daughter or his granddaughter or something, but uses dinosaur DNA to bring her back. So she's a clone but has dinosaur DNA, so she's part dinosaur.
Spoilers.
But
that movie, everyone hates that movie, so no one really cares. I care. I like the movies. I honestly like the new Jurassic Park trilogy.
Like I said, I forgot there was one in between, but
or Jurassic World, that's what it's called. My bad.
Right. The last one was pretty alright. I do the AMC movie thing, so I just have movies I need to see, so I feel like I'm not wasting money on a subscription.
Valid.
And so like occasionally I'll just go and I'll see like a random movie, and that was what was out that week. And I was like, could be worse. I also saw this movie called Firestarter. That was not very good.
Was Firestarter the one about that little girl that gets angry and then starts fires? That movie looks stupid.
It was.
I worked at the movie theater at that time, and that ad came on, or that like trailer came on so much in the lobby, but so did like every trailer, because we just have rotating trailers.
Yeah.
And I could recite the entire Minions Rise of Gru trailer from beginning to end. And two, Firestarter would come on, and every time I'd see it, I'd look up, and for some reason it was so forgettable, because I'd forget about it until it rolled again like 5 minutes later, and I was like, oh right, this movie, this looks awful. And then 5 minutes later I look at it and be like, this looks bad still.
Yeah. I feel like another really terrible movie that I saw was Buzz Lightyear. I didn't enjoy that one at all. Or Lightyear or whatever.
I haven't watched it just because I wanted it to be good. I've heard bad things about it.
First of all, like, Chris Evans does...
I'm going to watch it eventually. I just don't know when.
Chris Evans... all I'm saying is about, like, I would have much rather preferred Tim Allen, but... Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, Chris Evans does alright, but, like, Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear, which I also feel like they made him way stupider they made him more stupid. I don't know. English is hard. He was really stupid in Toy Story 4 for no reason.
I didn't watch Toy Story 4 because I refuse to acknowledge that there's anything else after Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 is perfect.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love that movie so much.
So, what I'm picking up is we now have all of the Star Wars, all of the Pirates of the Caribbean, Tenacious D. I watched Airplane last night. That movie still holds up. It is phenomenal.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
And he's got his drinking problem, and he just splashes himself. It's great. And then the co-pilot, he is phenomenal. That being said, go watch Airplane.
Airplane is a quality movie.
It's way better than the sequels.
Add that to the list.
But like, we got just all sorts of movies and things that we need to like watch. So I feel like now we have enough stuff where it's like, okay, folks, would you rather we tackle pirates? Would you rather we tackle...
We can send out a poll, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we have enough where we could do that.
There's a way we can do a poll. We can... I think it's on the episode itself.
Yeah. Or we could do like Instagram. We could do a couple of different...
Yeah, we could do all three, honestly, and just pull the results.
Right.
So, let's see. We got Pirates of the Caribbean. We've got Toy Story.
Yes.
We've got... finish out Star Wars, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Star Wars, we're not even going to include that one in the poll.
Okay.
We could do...
We could do, like, prequels.
Prequels would be next. Yeah.
We need to start... Have you guys ever heard of Letterboxd?
No.
So it's like a movie review app. So it's an app I have. If any of you have Letterboxd or don't, get Letterboxd. Add me as a friend. My name is Genghis Juan, Genghis Juan. No spaces, capital G, capital J. But you can like look through movies, see people's reviews on them. Like they're like star reviews, written reviews, and you can like put lists of movies, so you can like keep track of the movies you watched, write down what you think about it, rate it according to how you want to rate it, or even if you want to do it with the public. I need to start getting into that because I told myself I was going to do that at the beginning of the school year last year, and then never did. But I've just looked at it again because I had to sign in again because I kind of forgot. But I've got 7 movies on here so far that I actually thought to rate. I've got Robert Pattinson's The Batman.
It's pretty hard.
Justice League, or yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, okay,
I haven't seen it.
I don't care what anyone says. I loved that movie.
So I didn't.
I
watch
actually still haven't seen it either.
If you have 4 hours and 3 minutes to spare,
Is it a 4-hour movie?
Yeah, because it's the Snyder's cut. Yeah,
Wait,
it was like everything he wanted to put into all his movies. He kind of just threw the extras into this. He was like, well, if I never get to make another movie.
I really liked it.
So we were at lunch the other day, and the Justice League was playing in the background, and I've never like sat down and watched it all the way through.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, I know. I was just watching, and like I wasn't able to hear dialogue, but I was like, wait, why did we go from like a sweaty basement to where are we? Why is it? How'd you get there? And then like all of a sudden they're somewhere else. I'm like, what the?
It jumps around so much.
Superman slaps Batman.
Yeah.
He does that thing where it's just like chest is puffed out and he like floats forward and just goes whoosh, and Batman goes flying. I thought that was really funny. He just swats him like
it was
a
like
fly.
the guy from Captain Crack Sparrow where he's just walking in.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, we should do the fans want to see us play more of Captain Crack Sparrow? Because I think you would enjoy it, Caleb. It's really...
Is that what you guys played last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like Captain Jack's story or something like that.
Hell yeah.
And we figured out the audio thing. If we have time, we could probably play like
The
a level
Legend
or
of Jack
two.
Sparrow.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Call that the gaming episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then tomorrow we'll try and do a Star Wars one.
Yeah.
Are you bringing...
Maybe if I can get over there.
If not...
Maybe not, though.
You know what? Let's not plan on it, and we can do...
Let's finish up Pirates.
Yeah.
And then I can maybe bring it tomorrow. I'm trying to think if I have time to go grab it. Because what time are we going to do podcast tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow... Well, it's not the podcast.
Or I guess gaming.
Sometime afternoon.
After 5, I thought.
Okay.
Which we probably have a couple hours where we could just play, like, do another episode of Pirates for...
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, if you don't get the time to go grab it, we can play Force Unleashed.
Yeah, that works.
Episode 3, whatever one comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we can save... You know what? Let's save Lego Star Wars for another day. Let's do one where we talk about the new games and the old one.
Agreed. Okay.
Let's save that for that.
Definitely.
But yeah, I've got like Zack Snyder's Justice League on here, Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Wasn't a fan.
I thought it was a really good movie. We'll get into that later.
That'll be a fun. That'll be a fun episode.
Yeah. The Revenant. That movie was insane. The Dark Knight. Because
it's very good.
How do you not love that movie? Over the Hedge.
My mom.
I fucking love that movie.
Over the Hedge is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Absolutely. Goated cast.
Going back to The Dark Knight. I think I was telling you about this.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
My mom hated Batman.
Or 2 episodes ago.
Hated Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, in order to play the Batman Arkham games, I wrote a list of 100 reasons, or 101 reasons why she should let me play the Batman Arkham games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, then Joker had come out and we were talking about it, and she found Joker more fascinating than Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched The Dark Knight and we watched Joker. She wasn't a fan of... We weren't fans of Joker.
Right.
She fucking loved The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And she was like, Heath Ledger is one of the greatest actors. Like, she loved The Dark Knight. Dude, and so much so
good.
Like, I think it was like a week later we were watching... I don't know what would break first. Your spirit or your body? I really like doing the Bane voice.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really fun to do a whole episode doing the Bane voice.
I disagree.
I want to die.
Wouldn't it be very fun for the viewers?
It would not.
But it would. But that's the point. The citizens of Gotham.
Fuck the viewers.
We want the viewers to suffer. We want nobody to watch our episodes anymore.
I was born to talk like this on a distinguished conversation, molded by it.
Brought to you by
Rage
Shadow Legends.
Rage Shadow Legends.
Fucking hell.
Born in the dark.
Okay, back to Star Wars.
I was going to talk about Heath Ledger.
Oh, right.
That whole thing is fucking tragic.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it's crazy that real quick. It's crazy that Jack Nicholson gave him forewarning.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gave him forewarning. He's like, if you are method acting this, be careful. And then also, because what did he overdose on?
I'm assuming some sort of opioid.
I think it was some opioid or something.
Opiate.
And Jack Nicholson was also like,
chill out.
That drug kills. Like, it's all so tragic.
It really is. I feel like method acting a psychotic actor or a psychotic character is
very dangerous.
Very dangerous. It probably changes you to an extent.
Yeah. Like I just looked it up, and I looked up like Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger. Like those people also ask on Google, where you click on it and like has a drop down box with like a description. It says what Jack Nicholson said about Heath Ledger. This is like a Fox News article or something.
Yeah.
The 70-year-old Oscar winner was dining at the was dining at a restaurant in London when a photographer told him about Ledger's death. After saying "That's awful," Jack added, "I warned him," and refused to elaborate.
It'd be that way sometimes.
Yeah.
On occasion.
Tragic.
Rip the homie.
All right. Any more notes?
Yeah. So Finn can't talk and shoot.
Yep.
Han Solo meets them. Rey.
Yep.
Before all that, Rey can fly a ship. Rey's just out of nowhere sits down and is like, "Oh, I'm a pilot now."
Because plot, bitches.
No, there's a backstory to it because she has she finds a fighter helmet in one of the wreckages that she's in.
Yeah.
And she sleeps. I think she sleeps in the fighter helmet, like in a little hut.
Yeah.
Well, she lives in the little AT-AT.
Yeah.
Whatever the big one is.
I'm assuming the rational explanation for it is like she found like a simulation or something like that, or she just found like a wrecked fighter and figured out what all the buttons did.
Yeah.
So I can see there being an explanation as to her being able to fly. Now, her being able to fly well, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, she's like out here. She's out here drifting the bitch.
Yeah.
Like how it's not explained, and it should at least be explained or hinted at a little bit. Is my opinion.
Drift, bitches.
Exactly.
Force.
It's the Force. If they just pawn everything
Tokyo
off on
Drift Force
she
edition.
can use the Force, and the Force makes her good at these specific things. I hate that.
I agree.
Hit the nos.
So Han Solo, the stuff breaks, whatever it is, to the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
Isn't that what they're in?
The Millennium Falcon always breaks every single fucking episode because their solution to anything is to jump to hyperspace.
Yeah.
They never actually fight any battles except for on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Right.
Though I kind of I like that it's kind of just this thing that's held together by paper clips and duct tape, and they're just like hyperspace, that worked the last time, and then they take it, and then like mechanics are like, what the hell did you do this to this thing? And you're like, honestly, the engine says we need to fix it, but that just my bank account says turn up the radio.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, I bypassed the compressor.
Yeah, that's what I have written down. Is she just like reaches into like this compartment or whatever, rips something out, and Han Solo just looks up at her and is like, "What did you do?" She's like smiling. She's like, "I bypassed the compressor." How? That makes no sense.
I think that part of it kind of makes sense because
her being somewhat of a mechanic makes sense, but her just fixing the Falcon doesn't.
Well, I feel like in order to be like a successful scavenger or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're stealing.
I mean,
and what you're scavenging.
Yeah.
So like you gotta have an understanding of how everything works.
You know what?
So like scavenging also comes with engineering. Engineering comes with piloting, and it all kind of intertwines as to her being at least decent. But I can see that being a half-ass excuse for it. Yeah. But her being good at it doesn't make any sense because she's never been on a functioning ship. She's never been on a functioning.
You know what I would rather watch? Y'all ever seen American Pickers?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would rather watch like a Star Wars version of American Pickers where they're like, we're gonna look around this Imperial Star Destroyer. And
that actually sounds kind of fun.
Oh my god,
Storage Wars.
Is that,
yeah, hell yeah.
That'd
be a really easy way to.
You just got Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Start bidding 1,500 credits.
That'd be a really easy way to explain some like gadgets in Star Wars and like introduce new ones from Legacy. Yeah, it'd be so fucking cool. Mm-hmm. I actually kind of want that now.
American Pickers, and it's what was it? Mike Wolf and I can't remember the other guy's name.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
They're driving around in their space van. Today on American Pickers, we're on Endor, and we're gonna. Oh my god, is that an Imperial Star Speeder? I'll give you 1,100 credits. Ewok. Oh yeah, just 1,900, and then he's like, best I can do is 12, and then it
cuts. Negotiations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we need more of those in Star Wars.
Indeed. So, yeah, I've got Rey bypass the compressor. Why does she know more than Han fucking Solo?
Yeah.
The man who spent his entire fucking life on this ship.
Yeah. And
granted, maybe that explains why it's broken down so much, because he's never thought about bypassing the compressor, but like...
What is bypassing the compressor? There probably is. Like,
she says, I pulled the alarm.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled out the alarm, and it's not making a sound anymore.
Yeah.
I removed the problem.
Okay, but... okay. And we all have those, like, smoke detectors, and let's face it, we all just take the batteries out when it starts
I'd rather not... I actually replace the batteries because I'd rather not die.
That's fair. I also replace the battery. There have been some times where I'll, like... be somewhere and like the fire alarms are going off and I was like, why don't you just take the batteries out? Like, just take the batteries out just for now, replace them later, I don't care, just take them out now. I'm so annoyed.
If I ever like walk into somebody's house and their smoke alarm's beeping, I will absolutely give them so much shit for it.
I remember in my house in Texas, because like you would replace the batteries but it would still beep, and you would like do it by the manual how to like get it to stop beeping, and it would still beep. And so we just took them out and left them out. We're like,
so replace the smoke detector.
We were like, we have homeowners insurance, we'll be fine.
Fair enough.
But I've got Rey bypass the compressor, whatever. Skip ahead to a lot of the movie. Did Adam Driver want to do this movie?
I think so.
I don't know.
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't feel like it.
Because him with the mask on as Kylo Ren is so boring. He's so
except for those
monotone.
Temper tantrums.
The temper tantrums were probably the most emotion besides crying that he's put into this movie.
Yeah.
Because he has his mask on and he's like, traitor, you traded us. And everything is so monotone. There's no emotion in his speech. There's no body emotion.
Because I think his whole thing...
Han Solo's here.
...is because, like, he... Wait, hang on.
That's why we started on Star Wars, is we were clipping the mics, and
that's right.
Then we were just bitching about Kylo
Ren.
It's come full circle. I didn't even know about that, and now I'm like, Adam Driver sucks.
Yeah, I don't like watching Adam Driver movies now because of the sequels.
He's probably a great actor.
I had an internal battle with myself because when I remember this movie coming out, everyone was like, "Oh, whatever, Kylo Ren," and then he takes off the mask, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Adam Driver's hot!" And I didn't get it.
He's built like a fucking box.
He's built like a box. I didn't get it, and then I watched it, and I still kind of don't get it. But I was like, he took the helmet off, and I was like, he's a little more attractive than I remember. And then I was just kind of like thinking about it. And I was like, do I get now what all the hype was? But his acting made me hate it more.
He's all right, but he's no Ewan McGregor.
He's one of those people where like he's a good actor in the right role, and that was not the right role for him.
Maybe he should method act the Joker.
Because I was watching it and I was like, it feels like at some points, for some reason, what the fuck is his name? He played who was that dude in Dead Men Tell No Tales with the main bad guy that was like the undead that was walking around like Jack Sparrow. That dude was like fucking.
Javier
Was he in?
Yeah, Javier Bardem. There were some times where I was like, he reminds me of Javier Bardem, and even I would feel like he would do a better job at this role. It would make no sense because Javier
like
Bardem
50.
is stupid old.
Yeah.
But like, there were some parts of the movie where I was like, it seems like he reminds me of him.
Mm-hmm.
But even Javier Bardem has emotion.
Yeah.
And the only emotion that Adam Driver really had in this role was anger
Temper
and
tantrum.
sadness. Was he would throw a temper tantrum and then
I'm gonna
he
play
would be
devil's
sad and
advocate
cry.
here.
That's not
and
sadness, that's emo.
I don't remember. Does like who he is come out in episode 7? Like who his parents are.
I know that his parents are Han Solo and Princess Leia.
Okay.
They're pretty. They like. It's kind of the same thing with like Rey and her parents, where they're like they say it, but you also have to kind of read between the lines. But
Well,
like,
I
they do
remember
say-
Rey's a lot more of a mystery than that, but so I think the entire reason okay, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I don't
That's
100% believe what I'm saying here, but disclaimer.
Do it. It makes it fun.
So I think
be that way.
the way they wanted it to come across is he's repressing his actual emotions for anger and sadness, I guess, because he is trying to separate himself from
His family or
his
whatever.
from the Skywalkers, from the Han Solo and all them.
I get that, and for the sake of argument, I'm gonna say make it angrier.
Yeah.
Like put more emotion into it. Him repressing his feelings on what he actually feels, and him and like his internal fight against the dark side. His internal fight, because this is just kind of what I'm gathering, is he's like internal. He wants to just like give into the dark side.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, he knows he can't.
Mm-hmm.
But him repressing that is just him being super monotone. It seems like also just trying to divide between like Kylo Ren and Adam Driver. Adam Driver didn't know how to channel that.
I
He didn't
agree.
know how to put into emotion. I need to repress that. I can't. That this character has an internal battle with himself. I don't know how to do that, so I'm just gonna speak these lines.
And also on the Kylo Ren end of things, he doesn't have any reason to turn to the dark side. Like Anakin had Padme.
Yeah.
Well, for Anakin, it was never necessary. Like it wasn't.
He wanted more power, so he could save Padme and be with her.
He just lost sight of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver's character Kylo Ren doesn't
It's
really
just a
have
bitch.
any, at least doesn't have any explained reason to turn to the dark side, other than he wants to carry on his legacy of his
His
grandfather,
grandfather legacy. Yeah.
which sounds like some edgy like neo-Nazi bullshit. Like
He's just a bitch.
like oh,
Which is-
my grandpappy fought in the Confederacy, so I got fucking
I gotta be a Nazi now.
I think it's funny that you said neo-Nazi because, dude, the First Order they're just Nazis.
Yeah.
Like there was so much red,
Yeah.
and the
I
dude
was half
talking was
expecting
just
them
like
to start yelling Zega.
Yeah,
dude,
that's
for real.
That's the parallel. That's the entire reason Star Wars came to be is the rebellion was supposed to be a metaphor for like fighting the man, fighting the, because it came about in the 70s. So
Yeah. That
the
makes sense.
empire is supposed to be the fascists and the rebellion is democracy.
Right.
Yeah.
The next thing I have down is that the big weapon that the First Order using, that like the giant weapon that takes power from the sun, they stole that from Megamind. It was created by Megamind. They're using the full
fucking way they
concentrated
did.
power of the sun. Fire, and then it doesn't fire.
I have not seen Megamind in years, but like,
Damn.
I still have.
They
fond
really did
memories.
steal that shit from Megamind.
Yeah, Megamind was 2010.
We
movie.
thought they were stealing from themselves, but they stole from a vastly better movie.
They stole from Megamind.
It would be a good movie if they stole from themselves, but they didn't.
Yeah.
what confuses me is how did nobody notice
giant planet destroyer planet?
Yeah, how did you not notice construction of that?
I mean, same thing for like the. Well, I guess the Death Star had.
I think I'm like having like conflicting thoughts here because one, how the fuck would they
Just
build
take over
it?
a planet.
But also, I watched a video recently. I think this is all Legacy, but like after the Empire was destroyed as a whole, like all the little like Imperial warlords went out to outside of the Outer Rim to the unknown space, rebuilt themselves, and that's the only reason the First Order is able to come back with any sort of power. And I don't know.
Well,
I personally don't understand how the fuck the New Republic doesn't just beat the Empire.
The one that I can't wait to talk
off.
about is when we get to episode 9, which Dayton might be on for that one, who is also a massive fan in the way that we are of episode 9.
Hates it?
Yeah. It took him 4 times to watch it, I think, and he like fell asleep in between each time, and just like finally he made it through, which that was kind of the same experience I had with it. Like even the Lego game, the Skywalker Saga, I was like, I played through most of the game, and then I got to the sequels. I was like, get to the credits already. I hate this.
Yeah.
But
I can honestly say beyond episode 7, I didn't understand any of the fucking movies. Like episode 9, I watched it in theaters and I had no idea what the fuck's going on. And I've been an avid Star Wars enjoyer for like my entire life. My dad got me into it, and
my
I've been
favorite
like, watching it ever since.
Just from the opening credits of 9, it jumps off the deep end, and it just blah 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 is back, and you're like, what?
It's because they had to retcon everything from the fucking director change, which again doesn't make any sense from a creative standpoint. Like, why would you change directors in the middle of a fucking trilogy?
Well, it was like, yeah. I can't. You know what? Let's do some research into this next week, and then that way we seem professional, and maybe Spotify will sponsor us or whatever. But we'll do some research into that, and then because like going back to J.J. Abrams, I feel like
J.J. Abrams didn't do 9, by the way.
He didn't?
No.
I thought he did 9.
At first, J.J. Abrams was offered the opportunity to direct the entire new trilogy. However, he turned down the offer. Thus, Disney and Lucasfilm decided to have 3 distinct directors direct 3 distinct films: Abrams for 8, Johnson for 9, and Colin Trevorrow for 9. Or Abrams for 7, Johnson for 8, and Colin Trevorrow for 9.
I thought Abrams came back for 9.
I guess not. That explains why it's so ass, and why they brought J.J. Abrams back for the TV shows.
We apologize, J.J. Abrams.
Colin Trevorrow was fired from Star Wars 9.
Oh, and who came back? Or who did?
Abrams was hesitant to direct any Star Wars movie in the first place, and only returned after Johnson's vision proved divisive.
That'll be a fun one to talk about.
He was convinced after rebooting both Star Trek and Mission Impossible, Abrams was initially wary to reboot another franchise. He was eventually convinced by none other than Steven Spielberg to take on the project. After the success of the Force Awakens, the plan was for the next 2 films to each have their own director, as shown by the previous franchises he brought back to life, like the Star Trek and Mission Impossible movies, and his work producing the Cloverfield series.
I've heard Cloverfield's pretty alright.
Once episode 9 was set to begin production, Lucasfilm found itself without a director following the disappointing fan reaction to The Last Jedi. Abrams stepped back into the director's chair and attempted to steer the trilogy back on course, which led to an uneven franchise. The Star Wars sequel trilogy would have been better served if just one person had directed each film. Well, yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what everyone's saying. Yeah. Colin Trevorrow was eventually fired from Star Wars 9, with Lucasfilm stating creative differences as the reason for his departure. Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, called upon Abrams to return, deviating from their original plan for any director for each movie. So
Abrams does suck a little bit more.
He was just hesitant to end it.
So you suck, and then you didn't suck as much, but you suck again, Abrams. If you want to be on the podcast,
I'll give Abrams the benefit of the doubt. 7 was okay. 9 sucked, but you had to pick up the fucking pieces. You didn't have anywhere to start off. You have the train wreck of a movie of 8 that you had to somehow do something with. And that's not Abrams' fault. I think that's a fumble on Lucasfilm's end, that they wanted to have 3 different directors for a fucking trilogy, because that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Well, because like you go back to the other ones, and the consistency between the original trilogy was Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
The consistency of the prequels, Lucas.
That's the other
you
thing
have
that
Spielberg doing the first 3, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I think he did. Did he do the or was it just George Lucas directing the prequels?
I think it was just George Lucas. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I lost it.
Clench your fist. That helps the blood rush and helps you remember things.
See, George Lucas directed A New Hope.
Lucas handed over the Star Wars universe to Disney with a roadmap. They didn't have to do anything with it.
He did.
Yeah.
He gave him, like, if you ever want to make some more movies, like he did give him the blueprint. And have you read like the?
I've read through it, and it's
not too bad.
It would have been good. There's a couple of things that I wouldn't agree with, that I would take some creative liberties with, but
I mean, compared to the creative liberties that have been taken.
Yeah, no kidding. It would have given a coherent end to the Star Wars,
like the original
the Skywalker, I suppose.
The original episode 9, it's called Duel of the Fates, isn't it? And
I don't remember. It's been a while since I read through all that.
I just remember it's pretty badass. Like, it goes back and forth to Coruscant, and like there's all sorts of stuff. Like Mace Windu pops up at one point, I think.
Yeah, I think because he's one of the people who fell to his death, so there's by all means a possibility Mace Windu could still be alive.
And Samuel L. Jackson would be down to go back to the role.
I don't know if he would be. I feel like he's turned into kind of a Harrison Ford type guy, where he doesn't want to do like any name brand.
There was an interview
movies
sometime back where he was like, "Oh yeah, we never saw him. We never saw like a death certificate. The English is hard. Death certificate."
Mm-hmm. He was never confirmed to be dead.
I just found this article that says reports state Lucasfilm are planning 5-year map for Star Wars films.
Oh no!
And this was released November 25th, 2022.
Sweet. That's good that they have a plan now,
this
because
was a bad time to stop drinking. If anyone can quote that movie,
we have The Mandalorian, and I think they're going to be making a Mandalorian movie. That's been floating around a little bit.
Oh, because they already kind of started with shows.
Mm-hmm. And the Ahsoka movie
I thought it was a show.
Is coming in August, the Ahsoka show is coming in August. There's another one that's called Skeleton Crew that's following.
Yep.
I think it's geared more towards kids.
Yeah.
But it's following like Rebellion fighter pilots.
Yep. Cool.
Which I'm excited for. I think that'll be cool.
They're trying to bring more of the Rebel stuff, which I couldn't sit through Rebels.
Rebels was geared towards kids, which I agree it's hard to sit through, but
when it
has
when it wants to be good, it's pretty good, but like otherwise it's
very childish.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, but you got to know your audience. Yeah. You got to know what you're walking into when you watch it.
That's why I like Clone Wars, and like they hide it behind the like you think it's gonna be for kids. And that
I disagree, because the first, like especially like the first 2 or 3 seasons, it's still very childish.
Yeah.
But then you get to 4 and on.
I think it's season 3 when they
it's I think it's like halfway through season 3 and then onwards to, I think, is it, episode 7 that they ended, or season 7 that they ended on?
Yeah, that was the one that Disney did.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hate, the 2 sisters in.
I have watched
7.
it.
Oh.
But I think once they figured out who was enjoying their movies or their shows, and that their audience was actually starting to grow up a little bit from the kids who were watching on Cartoon Network or whatever it was, they followed their audience with how mature their content was, which I love. I think that's awesome when a show does that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
With that being said,
have we? How long have we been rolling?
I don't know. Any more notes, Marcos?
Right.
So the weapon was created by Megamind. There's no emotion behind Ben's lines.
No,
I just kind of have that. So I destroyed him. I don't remember what he was saying. Wasn't that when he was talking about himself? He's like
something. I don't know.
Something. He was saying something about how he's got this little voice inside his head who's telling him not to do it. He's like, so I destroyed him. And it's like,
so I destroyed him.
Yeah, and it's like super monotone and boring, and there was no weight behind it. The only thing that was carrying that scene is that he was crying.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't help.
Most of like Kylo Ren's like lines and delivery and everything, it just kind of
it's a massive miss.
It's
in every
like
way possible.
You never know what he's talking about, because like he might go to like a restaurant, right? This is how I picture him, and instead of just saying I would like a plain cheeseburger, he would say like, I need the sandwich, but without the toppings, but without the bun, but without the meat and the cheese, but everything all together.
That's just bad writing. I think that's not Adam Driver. That's just bad writing.
Right.
Yeah.
Any more notes?
At least he can cry.
Yeah.
Why does Han Solo die?
Because Harrison Ford didn't want to be a part of Star Wars anymore. That's the entire reason. He wanted to die.
Why couldn't they write it better?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so poorly written. It's like, I know what I have to do, but I don't think I have the strength to do it.
And then like that whole sequence is weird, because he's like, he has the lightsaber in his hands, and then Han he puts his hand on it, and then it cuts for like at least like 10 seconds. Like it cuts away from that, and then you turn back, and it's like in that 10 seconds you couldn't have just grabbed the lightsaber. Like, and then like it cuts back.
It's supposed to be a touching like father-son moment. Like,
I guess, but
I'm gonna take you from the dark side. I'm gonna bring you back to our family.
I guess, but if I were in that situation, I would have grabbed the weapon and I'm gonna take care of you now, son, and chuck that to the side. Yeah,
just turn it away from you.
Yeah,
because like, okay, the whole time I didn't know whether Kylo Ren meant I need to kill you or help me kill myself.
I mean,
like, I had no idea if Kylo Ren was like, I know what I need to do, and whether that was for me to like move on and complete my mission or complete what I wanted to do. I don't know if it was either Kylo Ren saying I need to kill you, my father, or Kylo saying I need to kill me and get me out of this misery and pain.
The mission was he needed to kill the franchise, but they couldn't do that.
The way I saw that interaction going when I first watched the movie was Kylo coming out of the dark side, and
that's what I thought too.
Being like, I don't have the strength to do this, so like I need Poppy's help.
Yeah,
but and then he eats him.
And then he deceives him. Except it's like he deceives him, but Kylo Ren the whole time was just like,
yeah,
gotcha.
Okay, this is what I'm doing now, I guess. Like, he had no commitment. Like, there was no drive behind any of his decisions.
I feel like he was like going to, and then like he was gonna do the right thing, and then he was like not. But like, it's weird because there's no like.
Harrison Ford carried that scene, and you cannot change my mind on that, because Kylo Ren, like you said, was just like,
yeah.
Any other notes?
I don't wanna. And then Han is like, "You're my son. I love you. Come back to the dark side." And then,
I mean, not the dark side.
The light side.
Come
to the good.
Come back home for dinner, son.
That was it. My last point, or my last note, was just, why the fuck does he die? Why does Han Solo die? What's the point?
Yeah.
Which Harrison Ford just didn't want to do anymore. I guess.
Honestly,
that's fair.
I feel like that entire question though, like, it could be applied to the entirety of the sequels. Like, we're one movie in, and already we're like, why?
What? Why?
Just why?
Yeah.
No explanation, but that's kind of how these movies roll. And
the
next
really
one
is. That's also kind of how the original trilogy went, but it was more tasteful. Answers. Yeah, because you got answers in the next episode, but we didn't like this one.
Like.
Which again, I contribute to different directors, which is again a fucking awful creative decision on Lucasfilm's
unless
part.
You have like an outlined, like, okay, so in the case of like Harry Potter, the first two were directed by the same guy, right? And then there was like two different in between, I think.
Well, with that you have you already have the books. You have the source material laid out.
The source material. You have a timeline.
Everybody knows Harry Potter. You know, you can't fuck that up.
Yeah,
I didn't.
You can, but
I mean, you can, and I mean, cursed child, but but yeah. That being said, though, is like you can do different directors. I think it can work as long as you have like the outline. And they were writing these on the fly.
Which again, like, even just like 3 major plot points. Like plot point 1, Rey finds droid.
Yeah.
Discovers force powers.
Finds lightsaber.
Plot point 2. Finds lightsaber. Plot
Finds
point 3.
the youngling Slayer 3000.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Plot point 3 finds
That is what that is.
or Han Solo dies, or finds Han Solo for Han Solo dies. And then, if you write all of the events leading up to those points on the fly, that's fine. But you have to have like major events lined out if you're going to have different directors, because otherwise you have no direction for the rest of the series.
Right.
So
that's and just real quick if I can. So I feel like a trilogy in and of itself, which I want your guys' opinion on this. Me personally, I think a trilogy should, like, yes, each movie in a trilogy, like all 3 movies should be able to fit one into the other, but each individual movie should also be able to work as a standalone movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It seems like this trilogy can't do that. It seems like the first movie has so many unfinished questions or unanswered questions.
And the first
that
movie
people
has a lot that calls back to the original trilogy as well. So, like, if you've never seen anything like with Star Wars related, I'm sure you were confused, at least to an extent, when certain things happened.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no explanation, or very little explanation as to what happens around that. Like, I'm sure you didn't know what the fuck the significance behind the lightsaber was.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on it was Luke Skywalker's.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was Luke Skywalker's, and I think it was also
Anakin's second lightsaber.
No, because Luke built his own. I don't think
it was Anakin's second lightsaber.
Oh, that's right, because Obi-Wan gave it to him.
Well, no, because
Luke's green lightsaber he built. And it's also Luke's first lightsaber. Yeah,
it was Luke's first lightsaber, but it was Anakin's second because Anakin lost his in the droid factory.
Right.
And then he got another one after that, and or I guess technically third if you count the green one that Anakin has for like 10 minutes. But like the one that he uses in Episode 3, so it is officially the Youngling Slayer 3000.
So that's why Rey has all of like the big bad visions.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, this lightsaber's
nice callback to killing younglings would have been great, but
yeah, all you get is like some fire and some like flames, like ooh.
Yeah, and then also she sees Kylo Ren a lot.
Yeah, which confused the fuck out of me when I first saw the movie.
Yeah, but that was just because they were. It's like the same reason why people like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. It's like, well, is he good at the role? Well, he's hot. Well, is he good with?
I still don't understand why people think Adam Driver is attractive.
The
only again, playing devil's advocate, the only reason I can see finding
he has nice
him
hair
attractive
sometimes.
is long hair and like the dark, broody, like emo boy personality.
He is the.
That is fair. He's just
because women with daddy issues love emo boys.
I for all the ladies out there,
am I
that are
wrong?
single, I have emo tendencies.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. But why did I?
Holy shit.
Hot take.
That's really funny. That's all right.
Let me get some of that action.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
There, high five.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
I guess that really fits.
I mean,
that still bad.
Should that
the title? Huh?
Oh,
I feel like we should wrap this up by saying the title of this episode should be Marcos Hates Adam Driver.
Marcos hates Adam Driver.
Adam Driver's mid.
Adam Driver's mid. That's fair.
What
I like Adam Driver's mid.
Girls with daddy issues like Adam Driver.
That's my hot take.
That's your hot take. I think Adam Driver's mid is
in
a
the
really
description of the
title.
episode. We just talk about Adam Driver. It's girls with daddy issues. He's pretty mid.
There you go.
This
was primarily about Adam Driver, actually.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of glad
enough.
because he was my only man. Oh, not my only. He was my biggest gripe about this movie.
The only interesting thing to talk about this movie, like
so
nothing.
Actor-wise, I think everybody else in this trilogy is fine.
Yeah.
I don't like Adam Driver. The rest of it's just bad writing.
Yeah. It seemed like Finn was comedic relief at some points when he didn't have to be, and also they made him try to be like the goofy black guy like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
When they're on the ship in the Raptors or whatever, whatever.
Those
for some reason they don't kill Finn for like 5 minutes. They like grab him, but instead of eating him like they did everybody else, they just hold on to him and
plot armor. That's also the thing with like Poe. When he's on the planet, like post mass genocide, they're like, keep him. He knows about Skywalker. Kill everybody else. Fuck them. And then he's the only one who survives.
He actually does. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
I thought it was like he
person
did something.
who stays on that.
Yeah,
on the ship.
I also like the blood on the bloody handprint on the stormtrooper. I thought that look was so cool.
It is really cool, and the only reason they did it is so you could signify which one was important.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Like I love that look of just the bloody hand, and then they mess it up in the Lego games.
But yeah, all right. This has been a series of hot takes by your boy Caleb, your boy Marcos, and your boy Noah.
Yes, sir.
Tune back in for another episode of a Distinguished Conversation next Wednesday,
where we'll hit on more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, couldn't possibly get any worse.